Braden Smith splitting traffic, loose ball at midcourt. Lindeborg couldn't get there, and Kaufman-Wren has it for the Boilermakers. Boy, is it loud here in West Lafayette. Jake Lancer, Vihaan Easwar, and Andrew Pipta here for WCBN Sports. The preseason #1 versus the current #1, Michigan and Purdue. Braden Smith has it out on the right wing. Adai Mara on him off the switch. Smith driving into the paint, going in and out. The tip in, no good, loose ball, and it'll be a foul on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, and you see, one thing that Michigan really has going for it is obviously defense is a defense-focused team, and a big part of that just comes from the size of that backcourt. Especially you're dealing with a Purdue team that doesn't really like to shoot from mid-range a lot. You're going to see a lot of looks from outside the arc. You're going to see a lot of looks from inside the paint. So in that sense, Michigan using its size to sort of keep Braden Smith and the rest of the Boilermakers from getting inside the paint, going to be huge in determining who wins this battle.
Elliot Cadeau brings it across half court. Ball was tipped by Oster Clough, gets it back. At the top of the key, it's Yaxel Lindeborg. Gets a screen from Merez Johnson, looking for the roll, instead goes to Namari Burnett. Gets stopped at the free throw line, kicks it to Johnson at the elbow. He will clear it out and reset. 10 seconds on the shot clock, gotta go. Elliot Cadeau gets a screen, driving into the paint, going up and not finishing. Clough has the board as the Boilermakers bring it down the other side. Braden Smith has it on the left wing, drives past Johnson, kicks it to Clough. Thought about the three, but doesn't bite. At the top of the key, Johnson on him. Now he swings it to Smith. Mara on him, another mismatch. Second time down the floor for the Boilers. The kick out, Kaufman-Wren off the wing, off the back iron. Merez Johnson Jr. hauls it in, and the Wolverines have it, pushing the pace. Yaxel Lindeborg on the left wing. Now Elliot Cadeau at the top of the floor. Back to Lindeborg. Thought about the three, now clears it out on the left side. Working it into the corner, Fletcher Lawyer on him. Runs into a double team, kicks it out to Cadeau. Had a three, passed it up. Smith on him, the crowd getting loud. Kicks it out, Johnson Jr. corner three. Off the mark, bounces back outside to him, but Smith is there. Here come the Boilermakers, a bad pass. It is tipped out of bounds by Elliot Cadeau. Michigan basketball though.
Yeah, and Cadeau seemed to have put a hand to it. It seemed like he thought he could definitely just sort of balance his footwork and pull that ball back in. That isn't what ends up happening, but due to a last-minute tip on Boilermakers, it looked like Michigan kept that ball there.
They switched the call. It'll be Purdue basketball. Fletcher Lawyer.
About more accurate from our vantage point.
Sends it over. Top of the key, Braden Smith running the offense. Picks it up to Clough. On the right wing, Mara on him. Now hands it off, Fletcher Lawyer. The pull-up jumper, and the deep two rattles in. 2-0 Boilermakers lead with 7:30 remaining in the first. It'll be Elliot Cadeau bringing up the right side of the floor for the Wolverines. Braden Smith on him. Cadeau, some off-ball action, swings it to Johnson Jr. Top of the key, now on the wing it's Lindeborg. Now Mora, top of the key, trying to get it into Johnson Jr. Instead on the wing, he got it to Burnett. Burnett threw it inside to Johnson. Too strong, out of bounds, Boiler ball.
Yeah, and right now I think you're seeing Michigan kind of needs to slow down its tempo, but you're seeing a lot of very quick movement. I think that doesn't leave enough room for just a bit of dexterity to pull in on some of those passes. I think that's why you've seen a couple of misplaced passes, a couple of turnovers just in these few minutes. And I think just the raucous volume of this crowd, big part of that.
Braden Smith, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year, swings it to the right wing. Lawyer, the three. Cash! Nothing but net. Boilers lead 5-0. Just 3 minutes into this one, and the crowd is going crazy, Vihaan.
You know, like I said, Purdue likes a lot of looks outside the arc. They like a lot of looks inside the paint. They don't like the mid-range as much, but Michigan's definitely going to need to learn to defend the three.
Cadeau lobs one inside, and Mara throws it down. First bucket of the game for the Wolverines. 5-2, Purdue leads.
Mara at 7'3", the tallest player on this team, probably the tallest player on the University of Michigan's campus, has been the preferred choice at the dunker, and we're seeing him get into his element as a scorer a lot more recently, most notably with that pair of threes against Ohio State.
Fletcher Lawyer drives into the lane, gets body checked. It'll be a foul on the floor. It'll be on Adai Mara. Sideline inbound incoming for Purdue. We get a second to catch our breaths here. Welcome you inside Mackey Arena. Top 10 showdown here on WCBN. The Wolverines win tonight. They clinch a share of the Big Ten regular season title unless they lose out. Purdue basketball. Smith at the top of the key, gets a screen, swings it to Kaufman-Wren at the elbow, and the deep floater is good. 7-2. Purdue on the left wing. Smith on him. Gets a screen from Johnson Jr. Ball moving into the corner. It's Burnett. Can't get it to go. Lundeberg, rebound, kick out. Purdue wide open three. Top of the key. No. Loose ball, rebound. Johnson Jr. strips it away from Clough. Wolverines basketball as they reset with a fresh shot clock. Purdue driving into the lane. Kicks it cross court. Corner three. Lundeberg. Yes.
One thing I noticed in the preparation of this game, Purdue likes to play a lot of man defense, but there we saw Lundeberg with just a wide opening right of the arc, and I think that's an example of how Michigan's going to use its speed to sort of beat some of the traps that this Purdue team has set up for them.
Purdue leads 7-5. 15 minutes remain in the first half. Kaufman-Renn backing into Lundeberg, lost it, gets it back. On the right block, working, goes up the floater, rims out, loose ball rebound. Who's it going to be off of? We wait to see. Off of Merez Johnson Jr., as that brings us to our first media timeout. Purdue leads 7-5. It'll be a baseline inbound for the Boilermakers after the media break. Let's us take a moment to set the scene now for you listening at home. The Wolverines are the #1 team in the nation for the first time since January 30th, 2023, a span of 13 years and 17 days. It'll be the first time Purdue's hosted the nation's #1 team since 2005. The Boilermakers are looking for just their second victory ever in Mackey against a #1 ranked opponent. The keys to the game here, Vihaan, for Michigan and Purdue, what do you have?
Yeah, for Michigan, I think it's what I noted in the pregame. You're going to want to really sort of clamp down on your zone defense because Purdue has those areas of the court that they like to work so much. And obviously Michigan can play very, very well in matchups just because obviously with those three bigs, you really, in terms of size, in terms of simply playing defense, there's really not too many guys who would necessarily pose a major issue for the Wolverines. As for Purdue, it's on their defensive end. Again, Purdue plays a lot of man defense, and this is a Michigan team that, they rely well on passing and well-worked team moves. So I think you're going to want to see a bit of adjustment in strategy from either defense compared to what they usually play. Offensively, obviously Michigan, with the varied roster scores, they have had some off-night shooting, but I think what you've seen in the last few days with guys like Adaimara, like Elliot Cadeau, capable of putting up big nights on the score sheet, you're seeing Michigan kind of shake off some of those worries. You're seeing this Wolverines roster really grow into itself, and I think you're just going to want to see more of what you saw against, Ohio State, against UCLA, against Northwestern. You're just going to want to see just moving the ball well, just taking advantage of just the amount of different shooters that you have. I think this is a very, very difficult environment to play in, but I think there's a team that does match up in some ways favorable to Michigan just because when you are playing man defense, there's only so many guys that you can necessarily post a man on before you have Lundeberg or Johnson or Mara just use their speed and physicality to carve open a chunk of space.
These two teams played 3 times last year. It started here in Mackey Arena. It was the 500th Big Ten game played in the building, and the Boilers had their way with the Wolverines. A final score of 91-64, and it just was not close from the jump. Purdue opened with a 13-2 run and led 36-13 midway through the first half. Michigan had 5 turnovers in the opening 3.5 minutes, 22 total. After that, they played about a month later at Chrysler Center, where Michigan edged out a 75-73 victory. The final game came in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament, with Michigan having a dominant 86-68 victory en route to a Big Ten tournament championship.
And obviously the narratives were very different for Michigan entering that Big Ten tournament. Michigan had a very good regular season, yes, was expected to be likely a 5, 6, 7 seed going into the tournament, but then go in, rattle off a series of wins in the Big Ten tournament against teams like Purdue, like Maryland, expected to go very, very deep in March. This time around, Michigan has entered this game staking a claim to being favorites to win the national championship.
Baseline inbound to Kaufman-Renn. He goes up with it, can't finish. Wolverines basketball. Here comes Lundeberg on the left side of the floor. Kaufman-Renn guarding him. On the left wing, it's Lundeberg working. Driving into Daniel Jacobson. Kicks it to the corner. Roddy Gale puts one up, and he cashes. Big time bucket for Roddy Gale coming off the bench to give the Wolverines its first lead of the evening. Purdue basketball. Smith brings it across half court. Gale on him. Picks up his dribble at the Purdue logo. Jacobson on the wing. Had it poked out by Johnson Jr. Gets it back deep by half court. swings it to the top of the key, Kaufman-Wren, and it'll be a reach-in foul on Jaxa Lendeberg.
And one thing I want to note for the Wolverines early on, this is obviously something that's been noted to be a great strength. You're already seeing just how this team can out-rebound anyone.
Smith has it at the top of the key, dumps it down. Kaufman-Wren driving all the way and finishing over Merez Johnson Jr. Boilers take the lead back 9-8. That breaks Michigan's 6-0 run. Wolverines have it on the other side of the floor. Lendeberg on the right wing. Now Elliot Cadeau on the Purdue P. Picks up his dribble, looking, hands it off to Merez Johnson Jr. Top of the key, hands it off, back to Cadeau. Cadeau runs into a double team off the screen, picks it up. In the corner, it's Lendeberg. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Puts it up, it's deflected. It'll be Michigan basketball. The shot clock will stay at 5. It'll be a corner sideline inbound for Elliot Cadeau. The very tall 7'4" Daniel Jacobson on him. He passes it out, and no one was home. Goes across half court, and Amari Burnett picks it up. 3 seconds. Cadeau on the wing. NBA range 3 off the mark. Back iron. Merez Johnson Jr. gets it back, puts it up. The shot clock did not reset, although it should have, and there's a foul on the floor. It looks to be on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, and again, early on, you're seeing Merez Johnson, one of the top scorers on this team. Just another advantage he has, probably the best rebounder that Michigan has to offer. Averaging about 7.2 rebounds per game. That's more than anyone on the team, slightly edging out Mara at 7, and that's something you're already seeing really come into play tonight.
Johnson at the line for his first of 2 free throws. He sinks it. Shooting just over 80% from the line this season. Top 40 recruit coming out of high school. Spent some time at Illinois before coming to Ann Arbor, being a key part of this starting 5. 13:54 remains in the first. Second free throw is good. 2 for 2 at the line for Johnson Jr. LJ Kaysen checks in for the first time tonight for Namari Burnett. Adai Mara checks in as well for Johnson Jr. 10-9, Wolverines lead. Braden Smith bringing up the left side of the floor. Roddy Gale on him. Now at the top of the key, Jacobson. Kaufman-Wren on the right wing. Lendeborg on him. Hands it off. Smith gets a screen. Driving to the pick and roll. Kaufman-Wren going up and finishing. The hook is good. Purdue takes the lead right back. 11-10. Cadeau has it. Top of the key. Dumps it over on the left wing. Lendeborg. Screen from Mara. Now at the top of the key. Swings it over. Right back to him. Lendeborg on the right wing. Pumps. Hesitating. Working on Jacobson. Baseline floater. No. Going for his own rebound. And Jacobson has it. The 7'4" big man just too tall that time for Yaxel. Braden's.
Yeah, I like the screen there from Mara to sort of just open up a play for Yaxel.
The floater in the paint. Too strong that time from Kaufman-Wren. Rebound Mara. LJ Kaysen has it on the left wing. Had his arguably best 2 games of his career the past 2 games. Can he keep it going here? He drives into the lane, goes up, and will get fouled by Kaufman-Wren. It'll be free throws for the sophomore.
And it looks like you're seeing Michigan really attempt to draw contact out of the Boilermakers so far. And again, that's another aspect of Michigan's size advantage. It's pretty easy to get somebody to crash into you when there's 7 feet of you.
Kaysen shooting just under 69% from the free throw line. First one is good, coming off a 13-point game against UCLA. Before that, a career-high 18-point performance and 4 steals against Northwestern. Really a saving force in that game. The Wolverines were down by about 16 in the second half. Kaysen came in and saved the day as he goes 2 for 2 from the line. Michigan leads 12-11, 12:50 left in the first. Braden Smith brings it across half court. Roddy Gale on him. Dumps it down. Kaufman-Wren working on Lendeborg. Mara comes over to help. Looking, working into the paint. Kaufman-Wren driving, goes over Mara, can't finish, gets his own rebound, goes up once again, and that time it's tipped by Mara. Wolverine basketball. Here comes Jaxa Lendeborg. Kicks it over. Elliot Cadeau on the left wing. Lobs it inside. Lendeborg puts it up and gets it to go.
Yeah, Lendeborg posed right by the dunker. Seemed like he thought he was going to need to connect on it. All it took was an easy layup.
5 points so far for Jaxa Lendeberg. Had some choice words for the Boilers that went around social media, and this student section has been letting him hear it so far tonight.
Yeah, we're seeing the chant of choice is we're not going to say it outright because we know there are kids listening to this, but a rather crude invocation of Yaxel's name.
Omer Meyer into the game for the Boilers. Braden Smith lets one fly from the elbow, no good. Here comes Michigan. Elliot Cadeau crosses half court, lobs it inside to Mara. Too easy that time over Jacobson. Mara wanted a foul on that one, Vihaan.
And Michigan is really exploiting the edge of the paint so far. It's something that you've seen really work out for them in the last game that I called Ohio State, where, again, they made use of Mara and Johnson's size, just kind of extend even without having to rely on dunks.
16-11, Michigan leads. Jakari Harris dumps it inside to Kaufman-Wren. It'll be a hook on Roddy Gale. And another media timeout. It'll be a baseline inbound for the Boilermakers. Almost 10 minutes into this first half of action, Vihaan, what have you liked from Michigan so far, composure-wise?
I think after those frantic first 3 or 4 minutes, you're seeing Michigan slow the pace of the game down a little bit. You're seeing some methodical moves in terms of passing, just moving the ball. Michigan knows the playmaking capabilities of players like Elliot Cadeau. They know that they have some of the best passers in the Big Ten. They don't need to force anything. And just now, on those moves where you're seeing just a hole open up in the paint where there wasn't one before, you're seeing Michigan's ability to just kind of move the ball around, just split the length of the court.
Purdue has missed their last 4 field goals from the floor. How do you see their shot selection so far? How do you think the Michigan defense has rattled them early on?
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot of shots that are taken very, very similarly. You're not really seeing a lot of We're not really seeing a lot of the jumper. At the same time, I think you haven't necessarily seen Michigan playing very aggressive in man. I think Michigan is giving Purdue enough space, but stacking the front court back. And I think perhaps that's part of the reason why you're not seeing maybe as many attempts from the jumper for Purdue, knowing that a more ambitious attempt can just be tipped aside by Michigan's big front court, which they're really working a zone in.
2 different styles of play here tonight. Michigan with the highest scoring offense in the Big Ten, 5th in the nation, averaging around 90.6 per game. Purdue, on the other end, checks in at 54th in the country at 82.6. The Wolverines like to play fast, maximize the amount of possessions, while Purdue likes to slow it down. Who do you think is going to dictate the pace of play tonight?
I would say it is Michigan. I think that they have the talent to just pass the ball around and slowly, like a boa constrictor, wrap around the Boilermakers and snuff out any attempts at life. But with Michigan, I think the key to this is going on big runs and punching first, because we've seen that this team can get a little bit frazzled when it accumulates a deficit, and that's when you see last season's propensity for turnovers and just slightly heavy-handed passes come into play. I think as long as Michigan can open up quick, heavy deficits through the play of its bigs inside the paint, I think Michigan's possession-heavy style is enough to control the game. But at the same time, if the shots stop falling Michigan's way, and I think fortunately for them, I'm not seeing a lot of the tough shot archetype falling so far. I'm seeing just a lot of safe, non-contested shots coming down. As long as they stick to that, and as long as they can stick to a rhythm, I don't see a scenario where they can't just control a lot of possession and ball time.
Purdue legend Zach Edey just walked out onto the floor and the crowd erupted. A lot of notable Purdue alumni in the building.
Yeah, Zach Edey, probably one of the program's most notable alumni in recent years. National Player of the Year, led this Purdue team to get over the hump and go to a national championship game in 2024 after years of being accused of not showing up in the biggest games. Braden Smith regarded as heir apparent in terms of being the man who's going to bring the Boilermakers a long-awaited first national championship.
Smith was a Wooden Award finalist last year, trying to win it all this season. We'll see if he can do it. A big performance tonight would go a long way. Purdue basketball, Clough working into the paint, backing into Lendeborg on the right side. Pumps goes up over Yaxel, can't get the friendly roll. Mara has the board, falling out of bounds, passes it out. Trey McKinney into the game for the first time tonight for Michigan. LJ Kaysen has it on the right wing. Gives it to Mara at the top of the key. He fakes the handoff to McKinney, gives it to Lendeborg. Back to Mara on the baseline, swings it over, and Roddy Gale goes in, flying the finish. 18-11 Michigan lead, 10:45 on the clock.
Yet again, I'm very impressed by Michigan's shot selection so far. There doesn't really seem to be an attempt to force anything. It's just relying on good looks inside the paint.
8-0 Michigan run over the last 2:03 as Braden Smith drives into the lane, can't finish. Mara rebound, and here come the Wolverines pushing the pace. Kaysen finds a wide open Lendeborg, a little bit of a late pass, and Smith is able to get there. Lendeborg backing into Smith, gets double teamed, kicks it out to McKenney, thought about the three, right back to Lendeborg, corner three, off the mark, hit the back iron, tipped out by Mara, hitting the deck. Wolverines basketball, an NBA range three, and LJ Kaysen hits it on the right side of the floor. The rebounding from the Wolverines showing as they have a 10-point lead halfway through this first half.
Jake, you asked me about Purdue's shot selection a while ago, and I think a big issue is that you're not seeing just a full extension on some of these layups or easy looks inside the paint, and I think that's where Michigan just has that extra space to get the rebound.
Braden Smith at the free throw line, now at the elbow, pumps, steps through, kicks it out, a deep three from Mayer. Rims out, loose ball, no one there. Roddy Gale has it. Purdue fans wanted a foul on the rebound. Roddy Gale driving into the paint, gets tied up. They call it a jump ball. Some good defense from Jakari Harris that time. And the arrow favors the home team, Purdue basketball.
Yeah, and after a frantic first few minutes, Michigan has kind of really settled in, starting to figure out the tempo of this game on their own terms. I think, like I said, you're not really seeing any attempts to force anything. You haven't even seen the Wolverines really force looks from three unless it's absolutely necessary, unless you see a huge opening like you did on that Kaysen long three.
Fletcher Lawyer checks in for Braden Smith. For the Wolverines, Will Cheddar comes in, but it looks like there's some substitution confusion on Michigan's side, and Dusty May decides to call a timeout to get his lineup checked. Having some words with the refs, but seems like it'll be a Michigan timeout as they try and figure out who they want on the floor. This is just Purdue's third home game in the last 33 days. After 6 of 8 games on the road, Purdue's back at home for 3 in a row, and it certainly makes a difference when you're playing in one of the all-time venues in the sport.
Yeah, and obviously Purdue, it's been discussed, have had an up-and-down season at points this year, preseason national title favorites, and for months it looked like it would finally be their year. Experienced a bit of a skid a few weeks ago, but now have rattled off 4 straight wins, including an impressive victory at number 7 Nebraska. Impressive despite, a bit controversial in terms of the circumstances, just a bit of a strangely officiated game.
Let's go into that game. Purdue was leading by it was 16, I think,
yes,
in the second half. They ended up not coming back. Nebraska came back, forcing overtime. Purdue was able to win it, but what a close one that was. Up by 16 at the half. It was their second road win over a top 10 team this season. That ties Purdue for the most in the nation.
Yeah, and I think that game was an example of where you saw maybe Purdue's defensive scheme not necessarily being able to hold still over the course of an entire game. There are bits where you saw Purdue maybe playing a bit of soft man coverage, and I think that was what allowed Nebraska to really work their way back into it.
Yep. 9:37 remains here in the first half as the officials are over at the scorers table still discussing. It was ruled a Michigan timeout on the floor, so that was the break, not another media timeout. After that gutty Nebraska win for the Boilermakers, they took down Iowa on Valentine's Day, 78-57. C.J. Cox and Jakari Harris both had 14 points. Braden Smith had 12 assists. He is only 3 away now from moving into the top 5 on the all-time assist list, all-time assists in NCAA history.
And obviously for Michigan, this has been a season, I think, beyond even the wildest Wolverine fans' dreams. Entered the season as a popular Final Four pick, but we didn't expect them to be the runaway favorite to win it all at this point in the season with a very impressive resume. I believe they have more 30-point, almost half of their victories have come by a margin of 30 points, which is just incredible to think about. It just really defies any sort of words you could describe defeat. These last 6 games will be defining of where this Michigan team stands going into the Big Ten tournament and into March Madness. Obviously, you have this game, and then you have a game against Duke on Saturday, number 1 versus number 3. Arguably the 2 favorites to win it all at this moment. That could be some people's pick to meet in Indianapolis in about a month and a half. Close to 2 months. You've got Illinois coming up. You've got You've got Minnesota and Iowa, which, again, Minnesota, one of the weaker teams in the Big Ten, but that was a team that handed Michigan a surprising loss last year in overtime. And then obviously you end the season against eternal rival Michigan State at home at Chrysler, a game that I will be on the call for, that I am very, very excited for.
Well, the jump ball call gets changed to a flagrant 1, which seems like Dusty May's timeout ends up working out for Michigan, as Trey McKinney will shoot 2 free throws. He makes the first. 11-point lead. One more free throw for the freshman. He sinks it. 23-11, Michigan lead. It'll be Wolverines basketball. Baseline inbound. LJ Kaysen will take it.
So far you're seeing Michigan shooting, I believe, 100% from the free throw line.
McKinney on the wing. Lawyer on him. Swings it over to Merez Johnson Jr. Cross-court pass. Corner 3. Will Cheddar. Yes, sir. 26-11. That extends it to a 16-0 run for the Wolverines. And they ruled it a 2 on the floor. It looked from our vantage point it was a 3. It is now 25-11. On the other end, Omer Meyer drains a 3. That one is a three-pointer. 25-14 on the other end. Merez Johnson Jr. working into the paint. The pass from Mara leads to an easy bucket for the Illinois transfer. 27-14. Omer Meyer brings it up the floor for the Boilermakers. Gets a screen from Jacobson. Now Jacobson picks up his dribble at the top of the key, hands it off to Lawyer. Johnson Jr. on him. He swings it around. Boilermakers working it around the top of the key. Meyer has it. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson Jr. on him. He poked it out. Meyer has it. 2 seconds. Driving in, gets a layup, and gets it to go. Too easy that time at the end of the shot clock. And they're going to say that Merez Johnson Jr. stepped out with the ball on the baseline, turning it over. It'll be Purdue basketball.
One thing you're seeing from Purdue is you're not seeing them force a lot of steals. You're not seeing them really be able to exert their physicality on Michigan. When the Wolverines do turn it over, it's largely to an extent self-imposed. That just goes to show just the level of ball security that you come to expect from this team.
Baseline inbound to Jacobson. He kicks it out to CJ Cox. Cox swings it around. Meyer now on the block. Kaufman-Wren backing into Lendeberg. The hook is good. 27-20 after back-to-back quick Purdue buckets. 8:10 on the clock. Merez Johnson Jr. at the top of the key, hands it over to Lendeberg. Yaxel puts one up from NBA range. It's short. Cheddar got in there for the rebound, kicks it out. McKinney a 3, wide open. It is pure. 30-18 after the big shot from the freshman phenom, Trey McKinney. Purdue basketball. Lendeberg with some full court man on Omer Meyer. Meyer, the freshman, brings it across half court, swings it over. Cox on the wing, picks up his dribble. Now Jacobson into the corner, wide open Meyer, pumps. Cheddar goes flying. The 3, no. Short, rebounded by Johnson Jr. Here comes Trey McKinney. McKinney swings it down low to Lendeberg. Pumps, goes up, can't get it to go. Daniel Jacobson was there on defense. Omer Meyer on the wing. Merez Johnson Jr. on him. Feeds it inside. Jacobson working on Cheddar. And the size mismatch is just too much that time. 7-4 going on 6-8. 31-20. Wolverines lead by 11. Kaysen on the wing. Surveying. Working on the right side. Driving into the paint. Tried to feed it into Johnson Jr. It'll be tipped out of bounds. Michigan ball after a media timeout.
Yeah, and you're seeing the three-point shots fall for Michigan. Yes, it's worth noting that they're still only 4 for 11, shooting at 36.4% from the 3 today. It's worth noting Michigan doesn't need the three-point shot to be a huge part, the dominant part of its offensive game, unless it wants to be.
Merez Johnson Jr. with 5 rebounds. Yaxel Lendeberg with 2. Not much else coming for the Wolverines on the offensive rebounding side, trying to get some more second chance points after this media timeout. 6:48 remains in the half. Wolverines went on a bit of a run. How have you liked Purdue's response since then?
Yeah, I think I want to see a little bit more physicality out of Purdue, and I think that's definitely something that you see a lot more of them, just sort of getting into the face of the Wolverines, just holding on to the ball even when, like, the example is that Mraz hook, but you saw Purdue just sort of step down and hold on to the ball there, forcing the ball out of Yaxel's hands when he had what would have likely been an easy layup or a dunk. I think Purdue definitely needed a little bit more physicality because Michigan was getting a lot of time with the shot selection. They were definitely allowed to be slow. They were allowed to be methodical, and I think Purdue definitely needed to up the pressure a little bit, and I think they've done that here just by playing a touch more physically.
Over the weekend, Purdue head coach Matt Painter became the 4th coach in Big Ten history to win 250 league games in Purdue's victory over Iowa. Dusty May also accomplished a feat. It was his 50th win last Wednesday in just 61 games as Michigan's head coach. Second fastest in Big Ten history to reach that milestone. Bit of two different coaches here, right? You know, Matt Painter, a legend, cemented himself in college basketball history. Dusty May, he's starting to get there. Obviously has some ways to go, but what he's done at Michigan in just 2 years, considering where they were to now being the #1 team in the nation, it's been pretty remarkable.
Yeah, just to run down Painter's resume, he has been the head coach of the Boilermakers since 2005. 5 Big Ten conference titles, 2 Big Ten tournaments, 16 NCAA tournament appearances, 8 Sweet 16 runs, 2 Elite 8 appearances, 1 Final Four, and 1 national title game run. 16 tournament appearances in 19 years coaching, taking into account his experiences with Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
One of the best resumes you'll see out of a coach in the sport.
711 wins at Purdue, just 492 losses. Pretty good. Pretty good winning percentage. Michigan basketball out of the media timeout. Elliot Cadeau checks in for Michigan. Braden Smith back on the floor for the Boilermakers. It'll be a baseline inbound from Cadeau. Daniel Jacobson guarding the paint. Cadeau surveying, looking for someone to get it to, forced to lob it out to Lendeberg on the left wing. Yaxel hands it over to Merez Johnson Jr., right back to Yaxel. Driving in, kicks it out. Deep 3 for Cadeau. Cash! That one was beyond NBA range that time, Vihaan.
You're seeing Michigan definitely, you've seen between Cadeau and Kaysen, you're seeing Michigan willing to try a lot of looks from much outside the arc from NBA range, and you're seeing a few of them fall. And I think maybe that has more to do with Michigan's three-point percentage than necessarily any deficiency there. Michigan's getting a little bit more adventurous with their looks from outside the arc.
34-20 Wolverines lead. A miss on Purdue's end. It's Michigan basketball. Trey McKinney on the right wing gets a screen from Johnson Jr. Looking for a pass. It's Cadeau. Cadeau thought about it. Gives it over to Lendeberg on the left wing. That's pure. 37-20. The threes are falling in West Lafayette. Under 6 remaining in the first half. Michigan leads by 17 following a 6-0 run over the last 36 seconds. Fletcher Lawyer has it, working on Lendeberg. Feeds it inside to Jacobson. Over Johnson Jr., no good. Gets his own rebound going back. This time a closer lay-in, no good. But the putback is there. Trey Coffin-Wren doing the dirty work.
One thing I want to note on the sustainability of Michigan's success from outside the arc, these aren't contested threes you're seeing. You're seeing Michigan get a lot of pockets of space to shoot.
Lendeberg on the right wing, now Cadeau. Gets a screen from Yaxel. At the top of the key, picks up his dribble, feeds it to Yaxel. The floater, good over the 7-4 Jacobson. 39-22 as we approach the 5-minute mark from Mackey Arena. Braden Smith, no points tonight for the star guard, 4 assists. Smith at the elbow, thought about it, kicks it. The pass too strong to Coffin-Wren, out of bounds at half court. Michigan basketball. Namari Burnett and Adai Mara check in for Purdue. Oster Clough back out onto the floor, along with him, Jakari Harris. Braden Smith will go back to the bench for the Boilermakers. Michigan basketball. Elliot Cadeau bringing it up across half court. Getting guarded tightly by Omer Meyer. Cadeau working on Meyer. Steps it back. Gets 2 screens. Top of the key, double team, looking for an outlet. Kicks it. Burnett driving left baseline. Jump stop. Swings it around the baseline. Merez Johnson Jr. Jump stop in the middle of the lane. Lendeberg kicks it over. Corner 3. Namari Burnett, no. Tipped out, loose ball. Johnson has it. Now Lendeberg. Yaxel on the baseline. Along 2, no. Loose ball. Mora has it again. Namari Burnett, a 3. That time it goes. And when you get that many rebounds in a row, Vihaan, it's tough not to miss.
You're seeing what worked for Michigan be the same thing that's worked for them all year long. Just you have 3 massive bigs who can just consistently go out rebound you. And when you can do that, I think that opens up rest of Michigan's game. You're seeing a lot more slowed down tempo. You're seeing a lot more methodical passing. You're seeing, like I said, pull back to those threes. I don't think we've seen Michigan necessarily shoot any contested threes. It's all been Michigan just opening up just so much space, both in terms of on the court and as well as time just, my apologies, to select which shot that they want. And I think that's a cue that Michigan's game plan today will be sustainable. That it would be different if Michigan was just nailing a lot of contested threes.
Yeah.
That hasn't been the case. They haven't needed those.
Wolverines shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Do you think that's coming from Purdue trying to commit too much to Michigan's bigs in the paint? Or do you think it's just breakdowns in the defense from Michigan? Do you think it's something Painter, like the game plan for Purdue that they have to switch up? Or do you think it's just Michigan being dominant on the inside and forcing Purdue to commit to the bigs inside?
Well, given that we've seen Michigan's bigs be able to go from beyond the arc, I really think it's a case of Dusty May and the Wolverines just forcing exploitations in those matchups. Yes, you're seeing a lot of the made threes come from guys like Elliot Cadeau and Namari Burnett. You're seeing it come through the guard play, but you also have Yaxel shooting 2 for 5 from 3 at the moment. So I think that kind of points more to it, for me at least, being the Wolverines being able to exploit a defensive mismatch and create a breakdown where there isn't one.
Wolverines shoot 35.4% from three-point land on the season, ranking 6th in the conference, just inside the top 100 nationally, but they've been getting open looks so far, and it has quieted Purdue's student section, the paint crew, known as one of the rowdiest groups in the land. It was silent after that last 3 from Michigan, as Namari Burnett got onto the scoreboard in the stat sheet. All of Michigan starters have now scored a bucket. Cadeau with 3, Burnett with 3, Mara with 4, Perez Johnson with 4, and Yaxel Lendeborg with 10, as both teams come out onto the floor. If you're Matt Painter, what are you saying to your team in the huddle, Vihaan?
I think what Purdue needs, like I said at the moment, it's just more physicality. I think Purdue really is struggling to defend beyond the arc. I think again, that combination of speedy play from the bigs and just guards who can spread the rock around has really seemed to have confused the Boilermakers right now. They don't really know who to be guarding, and I think Purdue definitely needs to clamp down beyond the arc, because at this point you should be prepared that anybody can make those shots.
Yeah. The
way Michigan is creating those shots, I think you and I could get on the court and we could make them if you had Elliot Cadeau setting us up and Yaxel and Morgan Adimara drawing up a mismatch.
4:17 on the clock. 42-22 Michigan leads, as Perez Johnson Jr. was late to get back out onto the floor. They'll redo the inbound for Purdue. Yes, I think there's some confusion about the clock. It may have started. They'll stay at 4:17. Purdue basketball. Full court man from Michigan. Omer Meyer brings it up the floor. Cadeau on him. Meyer brings it across half court on the left wing. Driving into Cadeau, picks up his dribble on the wing, feeds it inside, stolen away by Elliott. Here comes Michigan. Cadeau across the Purdue P logo. On the left wing, Mara gives him a screen, the pick and roll. Mara wasn't looking, he had a lane to the hoop. Here comes Purdue on the other end. Jakari Harris kicks it outside. Fletcher Lawyer, 3, yes. A big-time shot for the 4-year starter, shooting just under 40% from three-point land. 42-25, Wolverines lead.
Just sort of an unfortunate turnover there, because if Mara was able to turn his body, that would have likely been 2.
Mara on the baseline, backing into Oster Clough. Mara working, spinning, and finishing off the right side. 44-25. Under 3:30 remains in the first. Meyer bringing it up the floor. Yaxel Lendeberg on him now. Swings it over to Clough on the right wing. Mara giving him all the space in the world. Top of the key, Kaufman-Wren. Now it's Harris on the opposite wing. Back to Clough, top of the key. Oster Clough picking up his dribble. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Hands it over. Deep 3 off 1 foot. It's pure. Omer Meyer with a big-time bucket. Back-to-back threes for the Boilermakers, 44-28. Merez Johnson Jr. hands it off to Namari Burnett. On the right wing, runs into a double team, back to Merez. Now Yaxel Lendeberg, he feeds it inside. Adai Mara working on the block, going into Clough, goes up and is fouled by Clough. It'll be free throws for the big man from Spain.
And early on, at least in those first few minutes, you saw Michigan trying to draw a lot of looks from the line via contact. Michigan doesn't even need that because they've just excelled at getting open.
Mara shooting just 28.6% from the line this season, coming off a 15-point outing against his former team, UCLA, in what many people call sort of a revenge game after Mara wasn't utilized nearly as much as people think maybe he should have at UCLA, as he misses the first free throw. He's certainly been a key piece of Michigan's run so far this season.
Absolutely, yes. Especially defensively, you're already seeing that manifest into some NBA draft buzz as he's climbing up some draft boards.
For sure. One more free throw for the big man. That one, no, not the friendly roll, and it's going to be a goaltend. Trey Kaufman-Wren got a bit too excited that time, jumped up to haul in the rebound. It was still sitting on the rim. It'll be good. 45-28 Michigan lead.
Just a bit of impatience there from Kaufman-Wren.
Yeah. Only 3 total turnovers from the Wolverines so far. Last season they had 22 in Mackey Arena. Purdue basketball. Meyer has it. Working inside into the paint now. Fadeaway jumper off the right side. No good. Loose ball out of bounds. It'll stay with the Boilermakers. Michigan's bench thinks it may have been off Purdue. We await to see if Dusty May calls for a challenge. He does not. Instead, he will sub in Namari Burnett for LJ Kaysen. Braden Smith returns to the game for Purdue. Rough outing so far for the star guard, has still yet to score. At the top of the key, it is Smith. Roddy Gale on him, gets a screen from Jacobson. The pick and roll, no, he kicks it out to Jakari Harris, who puts one up. The three is no good off the back iron. Namari Burnett has the board, and the Wolverines are pushing the pace. Roddy Gale on the right wing, now Yaxel Lendeborg at the top of the key. Gets a screen from Mara, swings it over to Cadeau. Back to Mara, working it into the paint, Jacobson on him. Mara going up and finishing. And one, count the bucket. The big man going to work.
You would think that by now Purdue's guards would have known, if you see one of Michigan's bigs driving into the paint, just let him go. Just don't put a finger on him.
47-28, under 2 minutes remain. LJ Kaysen returns to the game for Namari Burnett. It'll be one free throw for Mara. And at the half, I think we have to talk about Purdue's starting center, Oster Clough, has just not really been on the floor, as the size differential between he and Mara has just been too much to handle. Adai sinks the free throw. Michigan's lead back up to 20, 48-28. Jack Benter returns to the game for Purdue. Jacobson checks out. Purdue's tallest man on the floor right now is just 6'9" Trey Kaufman-Wren. Adai Mara still out there for Michigan, along with Yaxel Lendeborg. A three, no good that time from Braden Smith off the right wing. Kaysen had the rebound, tried to dribble it in between Jakari Harris's legs, breaking the press. He lost it. Purdue basketball. Harris at the free throw line, surveying, feeds it onto the block. Kaufman-Wren backing into Mara, pumps, goes up, blocked by Mara. The Big Ten leader in blocks this season comes up with a big one.
You know, before this game, Andrew and Jake and I were talking about how Michigan doesn't even really need to force. Michigan hasn't relied on too many steals yet, but they don't need them.
Cadeau can't finish in the paint. Purdue basketball as we approach the 1 minute mark. Braden Smith kicks it over, gets it right back. Driving in at the free throw line, kicks it to Benter. A deep three off the back iron, loose ball rebound. And it's going to be an on-the-floor foul on Adai Mara. LJ Kaysen had the rebound, but it'll stay with Purdue. Vihaan, Purdue, 2 minute, 5 second scoring drought. They've missed their last 5 field goals.
And right now, you saw Purdue kind of being forced into a region that they don't really try to score much in. You're seeing Purdue sort of being isolated, pushed into the mid-range by Michigan's bigs. which is a region where we've noted they prefer not to shoot except for Braden Smith.
Trey McKinney back into the game for Michigan. Purdue basketball. Kaufman-Wren has it on the elbow. Working into Merez Johnson Jr. Jump step, goes up and finishes. Elliot Cadeau thought he walked. No whistle. We play on. Elliot Cadeau driving coast to coast, finishing. Can't get the lay-in to go. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll stay with Michigan. As that time Cadeau just said, I'm going to try and do it myself. Went all the way down the floor, just couldn't finish. 48-30. 37.5 remains, 17.5 second difference between shot and game clock. Cadeau baseline inbound, it's out to McKinney. Top of the key, it's Trey. Pull-up jumper from the elbow, over Smith, can't get it. Loose ball rebound, Fletcher Lawyer has it. About a 2-second difference between shot and game clock. Lawyer kicks it out, Kaufman-Wren, now Braden Smith will set up the offense, and the Boilermakers are going to take their time on this possession. Smith has it on the Purdue logo. Looking for a screen from Kaufman-Wren. Now he waves it off, and here it comes. The screen. Smith driving. Pumps. Kicks at the elbow. Kaufman-Wren. One-handed floater. Gets it. Clock still running. It'll be a half-court heat from Kaysen. No, he doesn't even try. So at the end of the first half, it's been all Michigan so far. 48-32. But we know in a building like this, with a team that Purdue has, this game is far from over.
Absolutely not, no. But you're seeing Michigan go out there, really just put on a clinic that shows why they earned that #1 ranking. You're seeing Michigan find so many different ways to score. Again, I've noted that Purdue doesn't really tend to attack the mid-range. Michigan hasn't really needed to use it that often either when the threes are falling the way they are, and you just have three bigs who you can just exploit at the dunker and inside the paint.
Trey Kaufman-Wren leads the Boilermakers with 14 points. Notably, Braden Smith still scoreless. 0 for 4 from the field. He does have 5 assists, but got to feel like he has to get it going in the second half if you're Purdue and you want to come back into this one.
Absolutely. And on the Wolverines' end, we saw Adai have a bit of a coming out party a few weekends ago against Ohio State.
Yep.
And it's continuing today. He currently leads the Wolverines in points with 10 and rebounds with 8. Leading assists is Elliot Cadeau with 6. The Wolverines still shooting at 50% from the three.
Last year, Smith had 24 points in the first game against the Wolverines. He had 24 once again in the second game, just 12 in the last one. And it almost seems that as Dusty May's staff plays this Purdue team more and more, obviously some different players, but, you know, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman-Wren, just to name a few that were on the team last year, it seems that the familiarity has definitely benefited the Wolverines as they get used to Purdue's play style.
Absolutely, yes. And just to dive into some of the more advanced stats, Michigan 1.5 points per possession in comparison to Purdue's 0.97. This is despite having very similar shares of the ball. Michigan scoring on 60.5% of its possessions, which is absurd, honestly. Michigan with 8 offensive rebounds, 14 second chance points. I think that's really one of the big stories of the game, the fact that even if you can knock the ball out of Michigan's hands, you're not safe because they can just grab it and then throw it right back at you.
Yep. Well, before we go to half, Vihaan, I want to ask you, if you're Dusty May, what are you saying to the guys in the locker room before you go back out for the second half?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't try to force anything. Just keep being patient. Just, like I said, the way Michigan has been playing in this game so far, I think it is. I'm obviously not saying that Michigan is going to end up blowing out Purdue by 32 points.
Yeah.
I don't. That's possible. I don't think it's likely when you have the number 7 team in the country in one of the most raucous environments in college basketball that I'm sure will wake up after the half. But I think Michigan just needs to continue its sustainable strategy of working outside the arc, slowing down the possession of game, just kind of using Cadeau's passing and the size of their bigs to work inside the paint. I think Michigan has played very sustainable basketball, and it's basketball befitting of the team's and program's first #1 ranking in 13 years.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the first half, the #1 team in the land leads 48-32. Can they close it out and come out of West Lafayette with a win? We will find out. Back for the second half shortly here on WCBN.
This is truly an incredibly special place. It's because of the guy that sits at the games right down here in G.
Second half of action live on WCBN. We bring you back into a sold-out Mackey Arena. Jake Lancer now joined by Andrew Pipta. As the Wolverines were in a similar spot against Michigan State recently. They were up by 16, an identical lead as they have tonight. Michigan State came back, made it a game. Michigan ended up winning. We'll see what happens here. Purdue basketball to start things off, 48-32, Michigan leads. Braden Smith at the top of the key, Merez Johnson Jr. on him. Dumps it onto the elbow. Kaufman-Wren working into Lendeborg. Goes up with the floater, can't get it to go. The leading scorer tonight for the Boilermakers misses. Bodies colliding on the rebound, Michigan basketball. Mara on the wing, now Lendeborg. Yaxel working, swings it, the pick and roll with Mara out of bounds, Michigan ball.
Yeah, deflected on the pick and roll there. I think it's going to be key again for Michigan to try and get some paint points here. You saw it there, trying to get the ball to Edai Mara there on the pick and roll.
Cadeau, the baseline inbound. Tried to get it to Lendeborg on the baseline. It's poked out of bounds by Braden Smith. We will do it over.
What's been really key for Michigan this time around has been controlling the game of possession. They haven't really turned the ball over, and that's been really incredible.
Inbound to Cadeau, the corner three. He's pure. 51-32. Back to a 19-point lead for the Wolverines. Less than a minute into the second half of action. Braden Smith brings it up the floor on the left side for the Boilermakers. Lendeborg on him, swings it, coming off a screen, it's Lawyer. The three no good, bouncing around, it's loose, and Cadeau has the board. 2-on-2 for Michigan. Cadeau looking, feeds it up, the no-look pass, Mara couldn't finish, trying to tip it back in, gets his own rebound on the block, looking for an outlet pass, still working, the ball was stripped out of bounds. Purdue basketball. What a sequence of events there, as Dusty May wanted a foul. It'll be Purdue basketball. And it looks like Roddy Gale is going to check into the game for Michigan for, we'll see for who. Now he's not going to check in. Instead, Roddy Gale will go right back to the bench.
Really interesting sequence of events there. As we're in this kind of weird, like, we don't know what's going on. Oh, everything's figured out. Ball's getting inbounded.
Braden Smith bringing it up the floor. Yaxel Lendeborg on him. Full court man for the Wolverines. Smith gets a double screen at the top of the key. Working on Mara. Into the paint. The baseline fadeaway is pure. His first bucket of the game. Smith is on the stat sheet. The ball got stuck in the net. Count the basket. 51-34. Both teams picking up full court now. Purdue crowd starting to get loud. Elliot Cadeau brings it across half court. Cox on him. It'll be a reach-in foul. No. It's going to be a blocking foul on Edai Mara. We're going the other way as it was stripped out of the hands of Cadeau. The foul will be on Michigan.
And that's his third foul of the game. He only has two more left. The guy who's been incredible in the paint, really important for this Michigan team on the interior. It's going, they have to, he has to stay out of foul trouble in order to this Michigan lead to continue.
Braden Smith brings it across half court. Boilermakers working it around. Hands it off, Braden Smith. Feeds it, Kaufman-Wren the step through, can't finish. He gets fouled. The foul will be on Lendeborg. (51-34), 18:09 remains. It'll be Kaufman-Wren at the line. Coming out of high school, only really had an Ivy League offers. He caught Matt Painter's attention at a camp and was able to secure a Purdue offer. He's been earning his minutes on defense and has really flourished into a key part of this team as he sinks the first free throw. 51-35. One more for Kaufman-Wren. Two for two. The paint crew getting loud. Michigan basketball, 51-36. 2 minutes into the second half. Lendeborg getting pressed at the top of the court. Yaxel on the right wing, swings it over. Merez Johnson Jr. now gets a screen from Cadeau. Cadeau hits the deck. Daniel Jacobson ran over him, and it'll be a foul on Jacobson. Bit of a size mismatch there. The 7'4" Jacobson running over the 6'1" Cadeau. That one might hurt tomorrow, Andrew.
Yeah, it will. I mean, when you're going into a big body like that, it's always going to hurt, especially someone who's built like a brick wall.
Lendeborg, top of the key. Cox on in tight. Yaxel working. Swings it onto the left wing. It's Cadeau. Elliott driving baseline. Runs into Jacobson. Tried to feed it to Roddy Gale. Cutting. Couldn't get there. Purdue basketball after the steal. CJ Cox going to slow it down. Now Kaufman-Wren. 3 turnovers for Michigan in the last 2 minutes after only having 4 in the entire first half. CJ Cox dumps it down low on the block. Kaufman-Wren working on Namari Burnett. Swings across court. The 3 from Cox. Off the mark. Tipped out by Kaufman-Wren. Smith thought about it. There will be a foul on the floor. It will be on Roddy Gale. And the Purdue crowd is right back in this thing after Kaufman-Wren pumps the crowd up. It is getting loud in here, Andrew.
It is. I mean, this game has been physical. It's been aggressive. It's been really a battle between two Goliaths here. And this crowd is always electric here at Mackey. And they're getting right back into it. They're still in range to make this a close game.
51-36, Michigan leads. Baseline inbound from Fletcher Lawyer. Johnson Jr. on him, and Lawyer forced to lob it out. Kaufman-Wren has it on the left wing. Lendeborg on him. Swings it into the corner. Braden Smith working on Merez Johnson Jr. Jump stop at the block. Goes up. Got Johnson in the air, and he will be going to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Some crafty work from Braden Smith.
Yeah, I think people like to think of him as more like a traditional point guard, but he is a guy who's crafty, who can get you in the air, pump fake, draws the foul, and just a really crafty move from the historic point guard for Purdue.
Well, it's such an interesting story as well. You know, he was sort of under-recruited. He's a bit undersized. He was underrated in high school. He almost never got a Purdue offer, but I think Purdue fans are very thankful that Matt Painter ended up giving it to him, as he has turned into one of the most historic players in program history. He goes 2 for 2 at the line. 51-38 Michigan lead as the Boilermakers begin to make their comeback. 6-0 run. Michigan basketball. Elliott Cadeau swings across court. Johnson Jr. has it on the right wing. Now Namari Burnett, top of the key. Swings it to Cadeau. Thought about the 3, back to Burnett. Namari driving, got tied up at the free throw line. CJ Cox thought he got all ball. The officials don't agree. It'll be a foul on the floor going on number 0 for the Boilermakers.
And when the game was a little close to start the first half, that was really what started the absolute run that Michigan went on, just getting the fouls, drawing fouls. It's been incredible.
Elliott Cadeau has it on the right wing. Lobs it inside on the block. Lendeborg lost it. Poked away by Braden Smith. Smith driving. Kicks it on the wing. Pump. Shot. Lawyer. Air ball. Out of bounds, and a rare air ball from the sharpshooter. As the Wolverines catch a break there in transition. 51-38. 16:30 remains. Lendeborg bringing across the timeline. Top of the key, it's Roddy Gale. Roddy working on Smith. Now on the right wing. Gale backing into Smith. Spinning. Kicks it corner. Burnett. Top of the key, Cadeau. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock. An NBA range 3 from Elliott Cadeau. Whew. What a gutsy shot with the shot clock running down. 54-38, Michigan lead. Braden Smith, top of the key, gets a screen from Jacobson. Falls to the ground, loses the ball. The Wolverines on the break. Buckle up. Namari Burnett throws it down. 56-38. And just like that, the Wolverines reclaim an 18-point lead. Braden Smith on the right wing. Gets a screen from Kaufman-Wren. Picks up his dribble, feeds it inside. Trey Kaufman-Wren working on Roddy Gale. Spinning, going up and finishing over Merez Johnson Jr. 56-40. Elliott Cadeau brings it across half court. Now Merez Johnson Jr. working inside. Looking for a kick out. Tried to get it outside to Roddy Gale. It was tipped by Smith. The Wolverines get it back, though. Roddy Gale driving the lane, going up. Crafty finishes, swatted away by Jacobson. He pins it on the glass. Purdue has it. Lawyer slowing it down. 5 minutes into this second half of action. The Boilermakers trail by 16. Smith on the left wing. Now Kaufman-Wren working on Cadeau. Right outside the paint on the left side. The spin, the fadeaway. He banks it in, and Cadeau hits the deck. The crowd goes wild. 56-42. Timeout, Michigan. Here comes the run from Purdue. I can't hear myself, Andrew.
Yeah, they're starting to get electric, and after that move by Kaufman-Wren, just had Elliot Cadeau completely lost on the dream shake, and he's been incredible today. I think for a game where Purdue has really struggled to score inside the paint, he has been clutch. He's leading the Boilermakers with 20 points on 9 of 18 shooting. It's been really efficient, and he has been important to just get some easy twos. He's in there, here and there. It's easy when you got a guy like him who can score inside the paint at will. It has been incredible. It has been one of the key reasons why this game hasn't been a 40-point blowout.
Yeah, you know, one thing that we didn't get to touch on in the first half that's been interesting is Purdue's starting center, Oscar Clough. He's averaging around 23.4 minutes per game. He hasn't really seen the floor much. They've been putting in the 7'4", a bit taller Daniel Jacobson, who normally is only averaging around 16 minutes per game. He's been on the floor for 14 minutes already tonight to try and counteract Adai Mara. What do you think about that call from Matt Painter?
I think in a game like this where it really is a battle, it's a chess battle right here. It's a boxing match, and you just have to try something new, and you have to try something different, especially with a top 10 matchup, a matchup that is important for Purdue's chances at winning the Big Ten. They're still in the game. If they can win this game tonight, they are within one of Michigan, and Michigan has an incredibly tough schedule ahead of them. You got, especially when they have to go play Illinois, they still have to play Michigan State again, and the Big Ten is incredibly tough this year. So I think that it's really a thing of you just got to try something and make sure if it works, then that's going to keep you in the game. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out going in the final half of this game.
Michigan was ranked number 1 for the first time since January 30th, 2013 on Monday. The current kings of college basketball will be tested right away. Top 10 matchup here on WCBN. Then on Friday, Saturday, the Wolverines go to Washington, D.C. to take on number 3 Duke in what will be a great game, also on WCBN. Then later on next week, they'll see Illinois, and then after that, a week later, they see rival Michigan State. It won't be easy going down the stretch, Andrew.
Oh, 100%. This is probably their toughest stretch yet in Big Ten play, and obviously that out-of-conference neutral game against Duke is going to be electric. With these 3 Michigan big men who are projected to go in the first round against possibly the number 1 pick in the draft in Cameron Boozer.
Yep.
It's going to be a night you can't miss. So you got to check it out, especially come to WCBN and check out. We have an incredible crew scheduled for that game, and I hope that everyone goes see them. Before we go back to the game, I'd like to add that Purdue is right now historically 3-20 against the number 1 overall team in the country. Their last win was against Arizona in 2024. Before that, it was, again, Arizona in 2000 and against a number 1 Michigan State in 1979. That was the last 3 times that they've been a number 1 team. So far, they're down by 14. But again, this is a Michigan team that has faced a lot of adversity and a lot of weird games. They could obviously come back.
Boilermakers have only taken down a number 1 ranked team at Mackey once. Michigan basketball. Jaxa Lendeberg, quick 3 coming out of the break, off the mark. Braden Smith has the board, and he brings it up the court for the Boilers. On the right wing, Smith gets a screen. Pull-up jumper from the free throw line. No good. Namari Burnett has the board. Here comes Namari. Wolverines don't have the numbers. Burnett still driving on the baseline, kicks it out. Cadeau thought about the 3. The crowd thought he walked. No whistle. The floater is pure for Cadeau. 58-42, Michigan lead. 14 minutes remain. Braden Smith on the left side. Roddy Gale on him. Smith gets a screen from Clough. Top of the key. Now Lawyer. Fletcher Lawyer driving. Had it stripped away. It'll be a reach-in foul on Roddy Gale. And with that, another media timeout. 58-42. The last time that Michigan won in this building was 3 years ago. It's been a while. They haven't had much success here in West Lafayette. What do they have to do to close this one out and get back on the right track here in Indiana?
I mean, first off, if Elliot Cadeau is going to continue to have the second half that he's had, I mean, it's going to be smooth sailing for here. He's 3 for 3 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3-point range. But I think they've just been incredible inside. They've really shut down this Purdue team and forced them to take some really tough mid-range jumpers. That's something that they're not really comfortable with. I mean, I saw last in the back half of the first half, they were really trying to get to that three-point shot, and it was falling from some of these roll guys for Purdue. And I really think that if Michigan can continue to control the paint and force some jumpers, turn this Purdue team from an interior paint scoring team to a jump shooting team. And I think if they can continue to do that, control the boards, and play a really clean game of basketball, I think you're going to see this Michigan team walk out with another top 10 win.
I want to make a correction there. It's been 5 years since Michigan won at Mackey. They've lost their last 3, but because of a COVID year and then certain years like this season where the opponents don't play at both in Chrysler and Mackey, they switch off some seasons. It's been a 5-year drought here at Mackey Arena. With a win, Michigan would really strengthen its lead atop the conference and almost guarantee at least a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. For Purdue, Matt Painter said it pretty clearly in his presser yesterday. If the Boilers want to win the Big Ten regular season, they have to win this game.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, with Michigan holding a one-game lead over Purdue and really just starting to pull away with the conference, you have to win this game. Not only that, but to solidify your spot in March Madness. Right now, they're sitting at about a 2-3 seed. They still have a chance to push for a number 1 if they can come back here down 16, right around the end of the first half of the second half. A little weird how I said it there. Apologies.
Halfway through the second half.
Yeah, halfway through the second half. Hey, it was a long drive here.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was a 4.5-hour drive from Ann Arbor here to West Lafayette, and it has been an incredible experience here at Purdue. I'm so glad to have this opportunity. It's been incredible.
Trey McKinney out on the floor for the Wolverines. Purdue basketball. Kaufman-Renn backing into Lendeborg on the right block, working, spinning. Lendeborg clears out of the way, and Kaufman-Renn can't finish. Whereas Johnson Jr. was there to help out and scoop up the board. Michigan basketball. Elliot Cadeau brings it across half court, working on Jakari Harris on the right wing. Now Merez Johnson Jr. Top of the key handoff. LJ Kaysen driving at the elbow, lobs it inside. Johnson Jr. pumped, had it stripped away by Fletcher Lawyer, and they're going to call it off Michigan. It'll be Boiler ball. Wolverines shying away from the full court man. They'll pick up at the timeline. Braden Smith brings it across half court. Lendeborg on him. Now Elliot Cadeau picks him up. Smith gets a screen. Got tangled up with Kaufman-Renn. Renn has the ball on the right wing. Merez Johnson Jr. on him. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Backing into Johnson Jr. Spinning, going up, and finishing. Trey Kaufman-Renn with 22 points. No one else on Purdue has more than 8. He's been their entire offense so far. Elliot Cadeau has it on the right wing for the Wolverines. Swings it into the corner. Lendeborg runs into a double team on the block. Falling out of bounds, throws it off the foot of Benter. It'll be Michigan basketball as Adai Mara checks in.
Yeah, another high IQ play from Lendeborg. He has been incredible, especially at doing the little things. And I think people expected him to be this like alpha dog, to score a bunch of points, but that's not what he has done. But but what he has done for Michigan has been way more important than just getting a couple buckets.
Kaufman-Renn's had some big games against Michigan. Last season in the 2 regular season games, he went for 15 and 22, respectively. Having another big one tonight. Michigan ball, Cadeau driving into the lane and finishing over Oscar Clough. 60-44, 12:34 remains. Braden Smith bringing the ball up the floor, gets a screen from Clough. Another screen from Clough going the other way. Pulls up for 3, uncontested, and it rattles home. His first 3 of the night. Smith now has 7 points. 60-47. That cuts the deficit to just 13. Cadeau has it on the wing. Gets a screen from Lendeborg. Cadeau driving into the paint. The floater over 2 defenders is good. Back and forth we go, trading buckets midway through the second half. Purdue basketball. Kaufman-Renn. Now on the wing, it's Meyer. Smith, top of the key, working on Mora. Feeds it inside. Clough goes up and is fouled. 2 shots at the free throw line for the Aussie. Before that, another media timeout. 62-47, 11:43. How have you liked Purdue's response so far in the second half, Andrew?
I mean, it's just been shots falling for this team. I mean, it's the 2 stars. It's Smith, it's Kaufman-Renn. They are the only 2 to score points in this second half, and they've been incredibly efficient. They've been getting to what they want to do. We've seen a couple of those Smith mid-range jumpers fall. We've seen his 3-point game. He made 1 of 1. I was about to say, like, he's been playing like Steph Curry in the second half. Yeah, but again, at Kaufman-Renn again, just a little, some of these shoulder shimmies, just spinning around, just getting into the paint and just getting easy looks at the rim. That's been key for this team.
Yeah. Trey Kaufman-Renn, his season high for points, 23 at Indiana. He already has 22 with 11:43 to go. Looks like he's going to surpass that tonight, and he'll have to if Purdue wants to win this game.
Yeah, he's been carrying the offensive load for this Purdue team all night long, and if he can continue, and I think really what I think they need is just one run where they can just get a stop on Michigan, especially with how it's more get a stop on Cadeau. 5 of 5 from the field to start the second half, 2 for 2 from 3. I mean, he has really taken over, and I think people really have boxed him in this, like, oh, he has to play the point guard role. He's really been more of a shooting guard in the second half, and it's been key for Michigan keeping this 15-point lead.
When Kaufman-Renn records a double-double this season, Purdue is undefeated, a perfect 12-0. He only has 4 rebounds tonight. Purdue as a team only has 18 rebounds to Michigan's 28. How have the Wolverines been able to dominate the boards?
It's just been physicality, always trying to get these second chance opportunities, and also they've been really good at hauling in the long rebound, and it's opened up so many opportunities where guys are just flying all around the half court, and there's always seems to be someone open on those second chance rebound opportunities. They're just in the corner at the top of the key to take a shot, and they've made their threes tonight. When Michigan is shooting threes, and making them, it is incredibly hard to stop. Their bread and butter is playing inside the paint, but when they're hitting their stride from 3, this is the most unstoppable team in the country.
Almost 53% from beyond the arc. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Again, also another thing to add, you want to know why they've been so good at getting these second chance opportunities? It's been Mara. He has 5 offensive rebounds in this game, and this is why it's going to be so key for him down the stretch not to foul out.
Coming into this one, Mara only had 4 double-doubles. He records his 5th of the season tonight. Merez Johnson Jr. back into the game for Michigan. Oster Clough misses the first free throw. 1 more for the Aussie. Sinks it. 62-48. 11:43 remains. Full court man. Elliot Cadeau brings it up the floor. Jakari Harris on him tight. Cadeau across half court. Gets a screen from Kaysen. Elliott surveying on the right wing. The screen from Johnson Jr. Kick to the corner. It's Lendeborg. Feeds it inside. Close to behind the arc is Merez Johnson Jr. He swings it. Top of the key, Trey McKinney. Step back 3 for the freshman. Short off the front rim. Kaufman-Renn has the rebound. Purdue will set up shop on the other side of the floor. Braden Smith on the left wing. Gets a screen from Kaufman-Renn. Driving inside. Was looking for the pick and roll. No one home. Stolen by Lendeborg. 2-on-2. Kaysen going all the way and finishing. 64-48 after the crafty finish from the sophomore. Smith brings it across half court on the left side. Will Cheddar getting ready to check in for Michigan. Smith gets a screen, swings it. Meyer swings it around. Now on the block, it's Kaufman-Renn. Working on Lendeborg. Backing inside, spinning, going up and finishing. It's been his bread and butter all night, and it continues to work. 24 points, a season high for Kaufman-Renn. On the wing, it's Lendeborg. Surveying, taking his time. Gets a screen from Johnson Jr. Yaxel working it on the right side, swings it over. Now LJ Kaysen gets a screen from Cadeau. Merez Johnson Jr. another screen. Kaysen loses it. Loose ball on the Purdue logo. It'll be a jump ball tie-up. Omer Meyer gets in there. The arrow favors Michigan.
That, again, that was just some great defense. It pokes the ball out, and then it just bodies flying all across the court, fighting for that ball. Michigan does retain possession, but again, if they can play defense like that, force some turnovers. I mean, Michigan already has 5 in the second half. They're going to be really good.
Lendeborg checks out. Cheddar checks in. The teardrop floater from Kaysen off the right side is good. 66-50 Michigan leads. Under 10 to go. Smith on the right side of the floor, working on Kaysen. Gets a screen from Kaufman-Renn. Uncontested 3 look. It's pure. 2 threes in the second half after going scoreless in the first for Braden Smith. He's in double figures. 66-53. On the right wing, it's Elliot Cadeau. Gets a screen from Johnson Jr. Runs into a double team. He splits it. Wide open 3. Trey McKinney. Pure. 69-53. Trading threes we go. Late in the second half. 69-53. Smith on the wing. Driving. Pull-up jumper from the free throw line. Rims out. Loose ball rebound. Kaufman-Renn on the floor. Hauls it in and calls a timeout. High IQ play from the senior.
So, okay, I need to talk about something I've really noticed. It's been Braden Smith. He looks a lot more confident in the second half. I think when you saw him come off those pick and rolls, you'd see him pump fake, hesitate to shoot that ball, even when he had a little bit of space, and we know he can hit his jumpers when he's on. And that has been, I think, a key for him. He's already at 10 points this quarter, and it's just him being more confident. He's done. He hasn't really tried to distribute the ball to the other guys. He's just really been taking that screen, picking and popping, and I mean that has worked incredibly for this Purdue team who's scored 4 of their last 5. And it's just been a really welcome change in the strategy. And I wonder if Painter said to him in that halftime break, hey, we want you to shoot. We want you to play aggressive. We want you to be Superman in this second half, because that's what they're going to need. They're going to need to outshoot Michigan. They need to turn to the jumper and let it fly, and that's how you can beat this Michigan team. Is we've seen it before. They just shoot well, get a couple buckets. It's been really key for teams playing against Michigan.
69-53. Braden Smith has it for the Boilermakers at the top of the key. Trey McKinney on him. Searching for a screen. Far on the right side. Picks up his dribble. Kicks it over. Kaufman-Renn. 5 on the shot clock. The fadeaway off the right block. Way off the mark. It'll be an air ball. Foul on the floor on Merez Johnson Jr. That'll also reset the shot clock as there was only 2.5 left. The Boilers pick up a big break, and that will also put the Boilers into the bonus, so Oscar Clough will be going to the free throw line.
Yeah, and I do want to note a little thing that I noticed. LJ Kaysen, he was matched up against Kaufman-Renn. That's a mismatch, but it really felt like he wanted to. He just has, I think all of the guards on Michigan really have this dog mentality where they just want to fight. They are very confident. That's something that Purdue media has noted when I was doing a lot of prep for this team. A lot of the media guys were like, these guards are just so confident.
Yeah.
You could sometimes it's confident, sometimes it's a very confident, you could say. And just seeing him matched up against a guy who's been on fire from inside the paint, and just him playing aggressive and trying to defend really well, I mean, that's just something that I love to see out of a guy like LJ Kaysen.
Trey Kaufman-Renn will check out and get a breather. Clough goes 1 for 2 at the line, making the front end. Michigan basketball, 69-54, under 9 minutes to play. Will Cheddar has it. Now on the right wing, Trey McKinney. Trying to get it inside to Merez Johnson Jr. Surveying on the right side, hands it off to Kaysen. Gets a screen from Johnson Jr. The pick and roll, Johnson Jr. couldn't finish. Had a chance, couldn't capitalize. On the other end now, Purdue basketball. Smith thought about a three, instead kicks it out to Lawyer. Now on the block, it's Clough. Working on Johnson Jr. Pumping, working, can't finish. Cheddar hits the deck. Merez has the rebound for Michigan. On the other end, Trey McKinney in the corner, working on Meyer, backing in, picks up his dribble, kicks it out. Top of the key, LJ Kaysen, working on Smith. 15 seconds on the shot clock now. Kaysen taking his sweet time. Gets a screen from McKinney. 8 seconds now, gotta go. At the free throw line, the feed to Merez Johnson Jr. is not there. It's a loose ball tie-up, and instead of it being a jump ball, it's gonna be a foul on Merez Johnson Jr. That will be his second. That leads us to another media timeout.
Yeah, on that play, LJ Kaysen, he was looking for someone to get open. He found Merez Johnson. That pass was a little low, and Braden Smith, who is averaging just under 2 steals a game, just intercepts that ball, gets it, and also draws the foul here. Again, that's this team doesn't really generate turnovers like that. They're more of a team. They don't steal the ball, rip it out of someone's hands, and then start just running the fast break. And that was just, again, something that you need, especially since Michigan's going to pick up another foul. They're already in that one-on-one bonus. And Michigan this quarter has really bad. Actually, I would less say that Michigan has been, playing more, drawing more fouls. I think just Purdue has played incredibly poised, especially inside the paint. They're not fouling. Michigan has picked up a couple fouls here and there. It is a scrappy game, especially with all the talk that happened before and I think over this season. So
it's interesting because especially in Big Ten play, Michigan's done a great job of getting to the free throw line, especially in these past couple of games. They've been close ones down the stretch. The Wolverines get to the free throw line early in the second half, and they start to just sort of pull away, getting a lot of easy buckets at the free throw line. Only 2 fouls on Purdue in this half. It doesn't look like Michigan's getting to the line in the bonus anytime soon.
Yeah, I completely agree. When you bring that up, I go right back to that Nebraska matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
Nebraska ball was on fire, on top of the Big Ten. Michigan, they were coming into what really their first test of the season, and that was really key to me, was that they just remained physical. They just attacked. They kept on throwing jabs. They kept on throwing right hooks here and there. They got to the free throw line and just made magic work and pulled out a win. And it's really interesting seeing kind of the opposite.
Yeah. Well, it feels like this Purdue run has been trying to come on for some time. They've been making some timely buckets, but Michigan has been really countering. How has Michigan been able to sort of prevent and stave off this Purdue run that's sort of bound to come at some point?
It's just been the guard play. Those are the only guys who've scored. Burnett, Cadeau, McKinney, Kaysen in this second half, and I think they've just been really the bigs have kind of taken the foot off the gas and let these incredibly confident jump shooters from Michigan carry it home. I think that's what they're going to need to do to kind of pull away, especially if Cadeau's going to not miss a single shot like he has currently.
1-and-1 coming up for Braden Smith, shooting just under 77% from the line. It is pure. 69-56. One more for Smith. It's 3 for 3 from the line tonight. 2 for 2 at the line for the veteran. 69-56, under 8 to play. Purdue picks up in full court man. Elliot Cadeau back into the game for the Wolverines. Top of the key, he tried to get it to Merez Johnson Jr. Clough steals it on the breakaway, went up, stripped out by Johnson Jr. Clough gets it back and puts it in. An easy bucket that time for the Boilermakers. A costly turnover from Elliot Cadeau. On the other end, it'll be a foul on C.J. Cox as Cadeau brings it up the floor. Sideline inbound for Michigan. And turnovers have been a problem for Cadeau in the past couple of games, in the second half especially. We'll see if that continues to be a common theme. Crowd getting loud, just an 11-point game. Johnson Jr. hands it off to Cadeau, top of the key. Now in the corner, it's Roddy Gale. On the baseline, kicks it. Lindeberg swings it around. Corner three, McKenney, yes! 72-58. Another timely shot from Mr. Michigan basketball. Braden Smith gets a double screen at the top of the key. On the right wing now, a screen from Lawyer. Feeds it on the block. Backing inside, Kaufman-Wren. Going up on Johnson Jr., can't finish. Loose ball, Roddy Gale had it, lost it, still on the ground, and Cadeau flips it to Lindeberg. Wolverines don't have numbers in transition. Yaxel working, kicks it. Roddy Gale driving, pumps, can't finish. Kaufman-Wren hauls it in. Smith brings it across half court. Thought about a three, slows it down on the right wing. Gets a screen from Clough. Braden Smith driving. Jump stop, puts it up and finishes. Beautiful finish from the senior. 72-60. Lindeberg lets it roll to half court and picks it up. So Wolverines continue to work this clock and bring it under 6 minutes. Cadeau tries to work off a screen. It'll be an off-ball foul on Trey Kaufman-Wren. He Purdue's fourth. Namari Burnett will check in for Roddy Gale Jr. It'll be a sideline inbound for Yaxel Lindeberg on the left side. 72-60. 6:04 remains. Cadeau will bring it across half court. Cox on him. Cadeau on the right wing, swings it to Yaxel. Gets a screen from Elliott. Back to Cadeau it goes. On the right wing, Kaufman-Wren on him. Cadeau going all the way, can't finish. The tip in, no, from Merez Johnson Jr. Loose ball rebound. Cadeau had it, was falling out of bounds on the sideline, threw it off the chest of Fletcher Lawyer. It'll be Michigan basketball after a savvy play from the point guard.
Yeah, and we talked about the second chance opportunities, getting these offensive rebounds. He saw it there, really a fight for the rebound. He got it, Cadeau got it, threw it off, and create this sideline out of bounds play.
The inbound to Trey McKenney, stripped away by Braden Smith, his third steal of the game. In transition, the NBA range three off the mark. Fletcher Lawyer, his second air ball of the game, and one of the best shooters in the conference. Just an off night so far.
Yeah, he's 0 for 3 specifically in the second half, and that was just another, a really confident shot, just couldn't get it to fall.
Last year led the Big Ten in three-point percentage. Michigan basketball. 72-60. Cadeau puts a three up after getting double teamed, was able to draw the foul. The Purdue crowd does not like it. It'll be 3 free throws for Elliott Cadeau after another high IQ play.
And that will be the first free throws attempted by Michigan. They have outscored. How do I want to say this? Here's how I want to say this. Michigan has put the ball and the basket more than Purdue this second half. 10 of 18, 4 for 5 from 3. It has been free throws that have really kept Purdue still still kind of right neck and neck with Michigan here. And these are the first free throws for Cadeau, who's had an incredible game today, especially in the second half. Just really been impressed by him.
The UNC transfer hits his first 2 at the line, one more, shooting just above 68% from the stripe. That one no good. 2 for 3 at the line for Cadeau. Braden Smith brings it across half court. 74-60 Michigan leads, approaching the 5-minute mark. Smith puts a 3 up off a screen, no good. The rebound put back, and one for Trey Kaufman-Wren. His career night continues, a big one.
He does not want to lose tonight. He has been absolutely electric from inside the arc. Draws the and one there. Another foul for Michigan, and they're if the and one is converted, they're almost within a single-digit lead.
It is good. Want to bring you back to that stat I mentioned earlier. This season, when Kaufman-Wren has a double-double, Purdue's 12-0. He has 8 rebounds right now, just needs 2 more to hit that mark. Yaxel Lindeberg brings it across half court. Tight defense from Kaufman-Wren, still working on him. Lindeberg dishes it out. Now on the block, Merez Johnson Jr. backing into Clough. Pumps, spinning, losing his footing, going up, can't finish, gets the rebound, puts it up again. No, another rebound, and this time he's fouled. What a sequence from Merez Johnson Jr. He couldn't finish, but he makes the hustle plays there to keep it on Michigan's side of the floor. He'll be going to the free throw line.
Yeah, and the crowd is not liking it. They thought Merez Johnson fouled there. He was moving that foot a lot when he was, pivoting, just kind of trying to find some space, and the entire crowd is letting him hear it. He's a really good free throw shooter for his size and his stature.
2 shots coming up for the Illinois transfer, shooting over 80% from the line. Michigan hasn't made a field goal from the floor in the last 2 minutes, 32 seconds. A free throw there from Johnson Jr. 75-63, one more coming up. Coming off a 15-point performance against UCLA. And a key piece of this Michigan team, and the Big Three having another big night. It is good. Merez Johnson Jr. now with 6 points. Only 1 for 5 from the floor, but getting it done at the free throw line. 4 for 4. Braden Smith lets it roll across half court. Under 5 minutes, 76-63, Michigan leads. Tight defense from Elliot Cadeau on Smith. He kicks it to Lawyer. Out of bounds, off Lawyer. The pass was too strong. It'll be Michigan basketball. A costly turnover from the Boilermakers. Only their 6th of the evening, but it comes at a big time.
Yeah, when I was looking at this game, I was looking at keys for Purdue, and if they were able to just not turn the ball over, force a couple from Michigan, I was expecting them to keep it close, but it's a 13-point lead for Michigan.
Adai Mara back into the game. Wolverines working it. Namari Burnett has it on the wing. Now Mara swings it to Lindeberg. Has a 3 on the right wing. He drains it and lets the student section know. We will see what the call is on the floor. Lindeberg drained the 3. They were going up for the rebound, and it looked like Braden Smith hit the deck. The officials are going to review this one to see if there was an off-ball foul, as the game will be stopped momentarily. 79-63. Axel Lindeberg, 13 points, 5 for 12 from the floor. Also 5 assists. He's getting it done in front of this raucous crowd.
Yeah, you know what? When I saw that foul call happen, I thought he got teed up.
Yeah, me too.
We know, everyone who has been tuning in this game probably knows the video that came out about him, talking about Purdue, and he has heard it all from this Purdue crowd. They have let him have it, and he has not wavered at all. He has been incredible this game, playing like a lottery pick.
Yeah. Well, they're reviewing it for a flagrant foul under the hoop. We await the call. Going back to your point about Yaxel, when he came into Michigan, a lot of media outlets, not just Michigan outlets, but national ones thought, this is going to be the do-it-all guy. He's going to score at will, and, the star transfer, he's going to be the main scorer for this team. It hasn't really worked out that way, and it's been sort of beautiful for Michigan, where they don't have to rely on Yaxel. He does what the team needs, but it isn't always scoring. Coming into this game, you didn't know if he was going to try and do more because of all the fired-up comments and the pressure coming into this game, but I'm pretty happy with his performance so far. He hasn't tried to do too much. I don't know what you think, Andrew.
Oh, I think that's a perfect way of looking at it. He's not trying to be Superman. He's playing within the system, and I think that's credit to Yaxel himself and Dusty May and this entire culture. It's not one where anyone feels required to be the guy. Now, obviously, guys have stepped up in big ways, but that hasn't been necessary when you have 4 guys in double-digit figures for Michigan tonight.
Yeah. They just showed the replay of the what they're reviewing on the Jumbotron. It looked like Trey McKinney ran into Braden Smith going for the rebound. I thought he might have gotten actually pushed in the back into Smith, so I'd be surprised if they call a flagrant foul here on McKinney, but we will wait and see.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, hey, I know everyone likes to complain about the refs. Hey, they're just trying to do their job. This has been a really weird second half in terms of foul calls and all that stuff. I don't think it's been necessary for the game, but I mean, I've just, you don't know, especially with how chippy this game has been. You don't know how they're going to factor anything in.
No flagrant foul. Matt Painter still on the floor talking to the officials. Merez Johnson Jr. back out there. It'll be McKinney, Cadeau, Merez, Adai Mara, and Yaxel Lendeborg for the Wolverines. Same 5 out there for Purdue. Braden Smith on the left wing gets a screen from Clough. Picks up his dribble. Now Lawyer on the wing. Kicks it to the corner. Wide open 3 for CJ Cox. It's pure. Timely shot. His first bucket of the night comes at a big time. 79-66. We've reached the 4-minute mark. Trey McKinney has it on the right wing for the Wolverines. Some off-ball action. He swings it to the corner. Johnson Jr. feeds it inside to Lendeborg. Kicks it out. The extra pass from Cadeau to McKinney. On the right wing. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Cadeau swings it into the corner. Fadeaway 3 off the mark for McKinney. Loose ball rebound. Fletcher Lawyer has it. 2-on-3 for the Boilermakers. Braden Smith driving in. It'll be a foul on Merez Johnson Jr. That will be his 4th. That could be an issue for the Wolverines. We'll see if Dusty May decides to keep him in the game, as another high IQ play there from Braden Smith, trying to initiate the contact, knowing that Johnson Jr. is in a bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, he was just out of position. He was not in legal guarding position, and that's going to be big because now both of your bigs, well, you can count the X as a big. I more look at him as more of the 3.
Yeah.
But your 4 and your 5 have 4 fouls. They're in foul trouble. I mean, you can really attack them now inside the paint, and I think that's going to be necessary for Purdue to get this win.
2 for 2 at the line for the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year. The lead is cut to 11, 79-68. The inbound pass from Lendeborg poked out of bounds. It'll stay with Michigan basketball, but the full court press is coming on strong here for Purdue in the final 3:30.
Braden Smith has been an accurate at this second half. He has been flying everywhere, trying to dive, grab these steals, and make plays on the defensive side of the ball. And this is what they need to do to win this game, get extra possessions, just steal opportunities away from Michigan, and that has succeeded. And I mean, they are within 11. If they get a couple shots to fall, a couple stops, that'll be important.
Full court press. Cadeau inbounds it to McKinney. Waves off Smith. Smith ran into him. No whistle. Michigan basketball. Purdue backs off. Cadeau brings it across half court. Taking his time. Gets a screen from Mara. Cadeau on the right wing. Lobs it across the court. Was trying to get it into the corner to Lendeborg. And just a bad call that time from Cadeau, as Mara will tell him, just calm down, keep your composure. We got this.
Yeah, kind of moving a little fast there. Just missed him.
Cadeau's 4th turnover of the game. 79-68. Michigan leads. Braden Smith has it at half court. Gets a screen from Clough. Smith working on Mara at the elbow. Kicks it to Cox. Cox loses the ball. It goes across half court, tipped by Lendeborg. Cox gets it back, bringing it inside the 3-point line. Step back, puts it up, blocked by Lendeborg. Mara gets it, swings it across half court to Yaxel. Feeds it to McKinney, and the finish is good. Beautiful basketball from the Wolverines, 81-68. Braden Smith brings it across half court. Go time for the Boilermakers. Smith working, kicks it to the corner, Cox the corner 3. That one might have been blocked as well by Cadeau. The Boilermakers get it back. Lawyer pumps, gets McKinney in the air, and he will be going to the line to shoot 3 free throws, similar to an Elliott Cadeau play we saw a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, just incredible pump fakes, expecting that 3 to fly, draws the foul there. But what I've been really noticing is, Michigan's blocking these threes. They played incredible outside the arc defense. The perimeter has been locked up for the most part, and with almost 2:30 left in the game, Purdue trying to make it within 10. I think that right now Michigan is kind of in the driver's seat here, barring any miracles happening here in Mackey.
First 2 free throws are good for Lawyer, 81-70. Over the last 4 games, he's been shooting 16-36, so 44% from three-point land. Bit of an off night tonight, only 2 for 5. One more free throw for the senior. Gets it to go. Crowd's starting to get loud. A final push coming for Purdue. Lawyer checks out of the game. Jakari Harris, maybe a better defender, you could say, back out onto the floor. Full court press from the Boilermakers. Cadeau's inbound pass to Lendabor, getting triple teamed, finds Cadeau. He feeds it up to McKinney. Trey, jump stop, and he smartly will take his time and work the clock. Outside to Cadeau it goes. Tight defense from Jakari Harris at half court. Cadeau kicks it to the corner. Yaxel had a three, passes it up. The feed to McKinney, stolen. Driving is Harris and finishing. Over McKinney. 8-point game. The crowd erupts. 2 minutes to play. Wolverines holding on to a single-digit lead. Trey McKinney at the top of the key gets a screen from Cadeau. McKinney taking his time, driving, picks up his dribble, kicks it out to Merez Johnson Jr. Approaching 10 seconds on the shot clock. LJ Kaysen holds it. Around half court, driving on Smith. It'll be a reach-in foul on number 3. Kaysen hits the deck. That will be Smith's first foul of the game. It puts Michigan into the bonus, and LJ Kaysen will be shooting free throw.
Yeah, he stayed incredibly patient, waited till the last moment, that just burst right at Braden Smith, draws that contact. Braden Smith just, Kaysen is just a guy who's just a ball of energy. When he unleashes it, he just puts his head down and tries to go to the paint. He's just a really hard guy to stop. He's going to shoot his free throws here.
Adai Mara checks in for the Wolverines as the first free throw is good for Kaysen. For Purdue, Fletcher Lawyer returns. Jack Benter standing on the sideline, looking like he's about to come in, as Matt Painter trying to get some of his better three-point shooters into the game. 2 for 2 at the line for Kaysen. Benter comes in. He's shooting 44% from beyond the arc. And you got to assume that the threes are going to start being put up by Purdue here under 2 minutes, trailing by 10. Braden Smith working it up the floor. Lendeborg on him. Gets a screen from Kaufman-Wren. Smith driving all the way. The reverse. Oh, almost a three-point play. It rims out. Braden Smith will be going to the line. That's Adai Mara's 5th foul. And he has fouled out.
Let's look at the replay here. I can see where the contact is. I understand that call. It just kind of reached out and hit him on the hand. And that's going to be really important for Michigan. I know that if you're Purdue, you really want to shoot threes. But to have a guy in the paint where you just can just shut down some easy 2 opportunities is really important. And especially also, you're talking about a guy who's a lob threat, too, on top of that.
2 free throws coming up for Braden Smith. Trey McKinney will be put into the game for Mara. So instead of putting someone with similar size, or I guess no one has similar size to Adai Mara, but a Will Cheddar into the game, Dusty May decides to go with the freshman Trey McKinney.
Yeah, he's been a guy that Dusty May has spoken highly of when he came in. His IQ, his leadership, the way he behaves. He's like a senior in a freshman body. And I think that he's going to be a guy who can play some great defense, do the little things, which is incredible considering he's a 5-star and he came to Michigan and he's played his role incredibly well. It's been so important for Michigan. It is really interesting to see them kind of go a little bit of a small lineup here.
2 for 2 at the line for Braden Smith. 83-75 Michigan lead, 1:30 on the clock. Fletcher Lawyer checks out for Jakari Harris. He'll likely come back in once the Boilers are back on offense. Baseline inbound for Cadeau, lobs it up. Lendeborg gets it across half court, feeds it to Johnson Jr., who finishes. The Wolverines waste no time putting it back to a double-digit lead. Braden Smith brings it across half court. Working, step back 3 over Johnson Jr. It's short. Loose ball rebound, Benter gets it. Harris thought about the 3, swings it to Benter. A deep 3, short. Loose ball rebound, Johnson Jr. has it. As we reach the 1-minute mark, Elliot Cadeau gets hit in the face trying to rip through Jack Benter on the right sideline. It'll be a foul, and Cadeau will be shooting free throws barring that he isn't injured and has to come out of the game.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt. Just took a shot there. I don't think it's going to be a flagrant or anything like that. I just think that was some basketball play there. Just took a shot
Agreed.
there. And I don't know. I mean, he's a tough guy. I expect him to get up like he has. And unless he's bleeding or anything and has to check out of the game for that, I mean, it's just going to be a same old day for Elliot Cadeau, who's had just one of those games that just kind of shuts up the doubters, the guys who have been critical of his lows. He's had an incredible high in a top 10 game. It has been an incredible day for him.
They're going to review this one for a flagrant foul. 85-75, and Cadeau has had some issues with his eye in the past, actually, as the officials look at this play to see if they want to upgrade it. As a freshman at North Carolina, he was diagnosed with a keratoconus in his left eye, a condition that causes the cornea to thin and distort vision. He did have a successful corrective procedure and regained 20/20 vision, but just something to be aware of after getting hit in the face there.
Yeah, especially with that history, especially with a guy who's playing the point guard, who's playing the guard position, mostly point guard for this Michigan team. Vision is going to be incredibly necessary, especially for a guy who has been asked to do really a lot this second half. I mean, he looks okay right now. He looks pretty good. And we're going to expect him to take his fourth and fifth free throw shots tonight and can put this Michigan team at above 12. At 12, with 1 minute left in the game, it would take a miracle for Purdue to come back from this.
Cadeau's career high at Michigan is 19 points. If he makes these two free throws, he will match that tonight at Mackey. He stepped up in big games. Was Gus Johnson's Gaudit player of the game when the Wolverines won in East Lansing a couple weeks ago. Another big showing tonight. And they change it. The foul was clearly on Cadeau, but he is injured getting his eye looked at, so Merez Johnson Jr. will be taking the free throws. The front end of the 1-and-1 is up and good. It was not upgraded to a flagrant after review. We will see if Cadeau comes back out onto the floor with only 1 minute and 5 remaining. One more free throw for Merez Johnson Jr. 5 for 5 from the line tonight. 5 for 6, short off the front iron. 1 minute remains, 86-75 Michigan. Braden Smith brings it along the left side of the floor. Lendeborg on him. Smith runs past Lendeborg, kicks it out. Wide open three look. It's good. Big time three from Jack Benter. We told you they brought him into the game for being a three-point specialist, shooting 44% from beyond the arc. Hits a big one there. 86-78. Purdue fans were starting to leave, hit the exits. Seems like they're starting to stick around now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were kind of checking out. But now within single digits, you have to stay, because think about it like this. All they need is a stop, get a bucket, another stop, get a three, and just another three on top of that, or, 4 shots inside the paint. They don't need a lot, in theory, to, tie this game up, especially if they can get some stops on Michigan, who, again, we know that they've had issues with turnovers. Not really in the clutch, however. But they have been, they can turn the ball over. They can, we can see another Braden Smith acrobatic steal. There's a lot of ways that Purdue can still win this game. It's not over yet.
Cadeau back out onto the floor for the Wolverines. He will inbound it. Full court press. 51.6 on the clock. 86-78 Michigan lead. Trying to win in Mackey Arena for the first time in 5 years. Cadeau searching to inbound, gets it to Kaysen. LJ getting double teamed, looking for an outlet. Spins off a man, pushes it up ahead to Merez Johnson Jr., who puts it up and finishes. Fouled as well. Jakari Harris tried to block it, couldn't get there in time. three-point play potential for Marez Johnson Jr.
And even with the game seemingly, near the end, we say the Purdue fans kind of leaving now. It's Michigan that's pushing the pace. They're playing to get another bucket. Marez Johnson, 80% shooter from the free throw line. It's incredible to see how impactful the way that Michigan plays. The fast pace, the energy, still being important to close out this game.
Free throw is good, 89-78. How about LJ Kaysen breaking the press, coming off the bench? Some big minutes for him. Purdue basketball. Braden Smith gets a screen from Trey Kaufman-Renn. Marez Johnson Jr. guarding him. Smith hands it off. The flush, no good from Kaufman-Renn. Deflected out of bounds. It'll be Michigan basketball. At first, the officials didn't know where it was going. They award it to the Wolverines. Smith drove it down, handed it off to Kaufman-Renn. He couldn't finish. It looks like Matt Painter's going to challenge this call. He will. I don't blame him with 32.3. It's sort of a last-ditch effort, as we'll see the play shortly on the Jumbotron. 89-78, 32.3 remains.
But yeah, on that Kaufman-Renn attempt, you saw Lendeborg stay patient. He didn't jump early. Timed his jump well, got his hand on the ball, blocked it. That ball flew out of bounds. And with a game, it's 30 seconds left, 11 points needed by Purdue to tie this game up. And this arena is crowding out. I mean, that was kind of nail in the coffin here, no matter if Purdue gets this ball or not.
6 different Wolverines in double figures. Trey McKinney, LJ Kaysen, Elliot Cadeau, Marez Johnson Jr., Yaxa Lendeborg, and Adai Mara. 2 of them having double-doubles, Johnson Jr. and Mara. Just talk about the versatility of this team. I mean, it's pretty impressive. When you look at Purdue, it's been Trey Kaufman-Renn tonight with 27 points. Braden Smith has 18 as well, but nowhere near the amount of production from role players compared to Michigan.
Yeah, that has been a key thing, is these bench points. LJ Kaysen hasn't missed a single shot, both from the field and from the line. It's been incredible, obviously. McKinney has always played a big role in this Michigan team. That has really played a big role in why this Michigan team has been so dominant. And all around, just an incredible game by the team. A lot of these guys had an incredible day, but it was the team. Especially when you shoot 57% from 3, especially when you shoot 53% from the field. It's impossible to steamroll past this Michigan team when they're shooting like that. And this is really, in my opinion, one of the best examples of what the peak of this Michigan team can look like. We've seen so many times the floor where they're great at scoring inside, playing defense and stuff like that, but it has been when they're incredible at the perimeter that this team really shines.
After review, it'll be off of Michigan. Purdue basketball. Baseline inbound on their side of the floor. Trailing by 11. The officials still taking one more look. LJ Kaysen could have transferred in the offseason. Some people thought he should have to get a better opportunity to shine with Trey McKinney and Elliot Cadeau coming in. He decided to stay. People didn't know what his role would look like on the team with 2 other very talented guards around him. He has shined coming off the bench and has been a key part of these last, not just 3 games, but Big Ten play for Michigan.
Oh, 100%. It's been him and McKinney, 1 and 2 for this Michigan team, who, when they come off the bench, it's just a fire hose. They're just shooting the lights out of the ball. They're incredibly confident, really aggressive with their shots, and that's been really important by LJ Kaysen, a guy that Dusty May brought over from FAU. He signed with FAU before Dusty May took the job at Michigan. He came over, and I think that's the reason why Dusty May believes in this man.
Yeah.
No matter if you want to, I know there's a good opportunity somewhere else to go and get starting minutes, but you're really seeing him develop, grow as a player, and I think in the next year or 2 you're going to see him starting and playing an incredible role for this team.
Baseline inbound lob, the deep 3 from Benter, off the mark. Johnson Jr. has the rebound, kicks it out, but before that he is fouled. Free throws once again for Marez Johnson Jr. Wanted to note that since Purdue did win the challenge there, they retain its timeout and can challenge once again. 89-78, 28.1 to go. More free throws for Johnson Jr. 6 for 7 at the line tonight. Wolverines as a whole shooting 84% from the free throw line, a bit better than their season average of 73%. First one rims out for Johnson Jr. Talked about Mara raising his draft stock this season. Merez Johnson Jr., another one who has just been climbing up the draft boards and looks to go in the first rounds next season. 0 for 2 at the line. Opens the door for Purdue slightly. Braden Smith brings it across half court. 20 seconds on the clock. Smith looking for a feed, instead driving, taking contact, can't finish. It'll be a foul on Merez Johnson Jr. He has now fouled out of the game. A clever play there from Braden Smith. The question is it too late to be going for 2s instead of 3s, Andrew?
I was expecting a 3 there. I mean, I think you have to. At this point in the game, you really can't afford just going for 2. You need to go for 3. Just take steal a couple possessions. But I think with that move, it's kind of wraps unless we see an incredible scoring outburst in the last 18 seconds. I do kind of agree with you. It's kind of late.
They've changed the call on the floor. We wait and see. It looked like they switched it for a second. We're telling Merez Johnson Jr. to come back out. Nope, Merez Johnson Jr. has fouled out. Roddy Gale will check into the game for him. First one is good for Braden Smith. 8 for 8. 9 for 9 now at the line tonight. 2 for 2 this time for Smith. 10 for 10 on the evening. Full court press. Michigan's going to run a bit of a football play here on the inbound. Cadeau, as they had people lining up on the baseline, gets it into Kaysen. Tried to rip through a double team. He will be fouled. Free throws coming for LJ.
And the rip move has been so, I think we've seen it a lot in the NBA, but especially college. That rip move has been really impeccable at drawing fouls.
Tough to stop, yeah.
You can't stop it, because if you're reaching over on a guy and he just rips through, that's an instant foul. Free throws, especially for LJ Kaysen, who's had an incredible night, hasn't missed a single shot yet, and that will not be an announcer jinx. I'm calling it right now.
First free throw drained for Kaysen. 5 for 5 on the evening. 90-80 Michigan leads. 91-80 after the make. No announcers jinx here from Andrew Pipta. Purdue basketball. Braden Smith brings it across half court. 12 seconds remain. He hoists up a 3, short off the mark. Chasing it out of bounds is Kaufman-Wren. He heaves one up.
Whoa.
Falling out of bounds, no good. And that shall do it, folks. The #1 team in the nation comes into Mackey Arena and wins by double digits. Michigan 91, Purdue 80. For the first time in 5 years, the Wolverines win in West Lafayette.
And what a game from the team as a whole. Coming into this game, I identified some of the things for Purdue. A big key would be controlling the possessions, quality possessions, not turning the ball over, and just getting the ball to their playmakers. Yeah, they didn't turn the ball over that much. They only had 6 turnovers all game, but Michigan doubled their assist total. They completely dominated on the boards, and obviously they shot incredibly well throughout the entire game, but it really felt like, what else could this Michigan team do? But through all facets of this game, played an incredible game.
Andrew, Purdue comes into this game 3rd in the nation in assists per game, averaging just under 20. Tonight they only had 12. What was Michigan able to do on defense to stifle the Boilermakers?
They just completely shut down that pick and roll. It felt like even when, Braden Smith got some space, instantly it was Cadeau, it was McKinney, it was Kaysen. They would slip by and meet him at the elbow, and he really didn't have any ability to make plays out of the pick and roll. I think that was crucial in stopping them, and especially Braden Smith, who had a very inefficient game from the field. I think that was really important to just force shots up instead of trying to look for some of these off-ball opportunities.
Well, the road doesn't get any easier. Next up on Saturday, a date with Duke in the nation's capital. Number 1 versus number 3. WCBN will have the call. Before we wrap up here, what's your key to the game for that one? Just a loose, light scout.
Light one. I just think, again, the bigs are going to have to show up. You know, when you have Cam Boozer, one of the best bigs in the country, probably, I think it would be fair to say that he's leading the race for National Player of the Year. You got to shut him down. You can't let him dominate the game, especially when you have these incredible defensive bigs. I think that's going to be the key, is just to shut down the star and make some of the other guys on Duke make plays and win this game.
Should be a fun one, maybe a Final Four preview. Who knows? Final score for Mackey Arena, Michigan 91, Purdue 80. For Andrew Pipta and Vihaan Easwar, I'm Jake Lancer for WCBN. We will leave you how we always do, with a good night and a Go Blue.